Today we're going to talk about shopping or grocery shopping in Placencia, Belize. Hi, my name is Jane. I've lived in Placencia, Belize for 4 years, and I talk about and I write about in my blog real life in Placencia, Belize, what it's really like to live here. Not the brochure version or the tourist version, but the actual real life here. And today, as I said, we're going to talk about shopping. Sounds easy, right? Shopping here is very different to North America. And when you first come here and you go into a store, you're going to get probably a bit of a shock. First of all, the stores, they're not very big to start with. There are about 7 or 8 Chinese supermarkets here on the main street in a very small radius. So I can walk from one end of the village to the other in about 10 or 15 minutes. And in that distance, all those stores are along that main road. They all have more or less the same stuff. Some have a few things that you can't buy in other stores, and some are a little bit cheaper than other stores, but it's more or less the same thing. And I think the first thing you'll notice when you go into one of these stores is that it's way darker than you would find in your hometown or your home area. And they don't have AC. Like, there's no automatic doors where you walk through and then you walk into this beautiful air-conditioned store. They all have like a garage type door, so you know that you can't easily open or close them. They have overhead fans, but it's still pretty warm in these stores, and they keep it a little bit dark. They have a few fluorescent lights on, but they keep it a little bit dark to keep it cooler, right? Makes more sense. Then you'll also notice in all of these stores that the aisles are really narrow. I don't think in some of the stores anyway, I don't think you can actually get 2 people passing each other in an aisle. Some stores you can, but it's pretty tight. The next thing you'll notice is that they do not have a huge produce section here at all. The produce in the actual supermarkets are very tiny, and there's a very limited amount of it. And that's because we have a lot of farmers markets here. Not a lot. We have maybe 4, which is enough. And all the fruit and vegetables that you buy from any one of these vegetable and fruit stands or farmers markets is fresh. It gets freshly delivered from Belmopan or from the farms on Tuesdays and Thursdays here, and so you go on those days and you can get fruit and vegetables that was probably picked within the last day or 2. So the supermarkets aren't going to carry a lot of that stuff because it's not worth it to them. You'll find a lot of they have quite a variety of things. You can buy almost anything that you need, but it is more advisable to buy local products. You can get the equivalent of North American stuff here, peanut butter, honey, all that kind of stuff is locally made here, and it's way cheaper. You want your brand name peanut butter or you want your imported cheeses, it's going to cost a huge amount more money. And I find that the local cheeses here are really not that great, unless you buy them from the Mennonites. And I haven't seen a lot of Mennonites in Placencia anyway that come and visit. As a general rule, the imported cheese here is really expensive. The other thing is the meat here. The main staple diet here in Belize is chicken, and it's very good chicken, and it's cheap. Any of the other meats, especially the steak and stuff, they they really don't know how to butcher it properly. It's not aged properly. The cows are Brahman cows, I think, and so the meat is, it doesn't matter what cut of meat it is, it's always pretty tough. So I've just stopped buying steak altogether. You can get you know, the ground beef and ground pork and stuff like that obviously is okay, but if you want a good steak, I would actually go to a restaurant, because they import their steak from Mexico and from America, I think. So it's definitely worth it to go to a restaurant and get a decent steak if you want one. And here's a thing about the stores here, is that and it sounds pretty gross, but we're all still alive, so it's kind of okay, I guess. But they turn their freezers off at night. So they close at about 7:30. They turn their freezers off. They open at 8 o'clock in the morning, and the freezers go back on. And so overnight, it's really, really hot here, as you know. Overnight, the meat, I guess, you know, thaws out. And so I don't find that very appealing. The chicken is okay. It doesn't seem to, it holds up pretty well. But if you want decent meat, and a lot of us do, we order it from the various farms around the country. So there are a few that we order from. One of them is called Coaxana, and they are in San Ignacio. They have their own farm, they have their own animals, and they slaughter them themselves. They're fully organic, and it is not frozen and unfrozen and frozen and unfrozen. And so what you do is they send you a price list. You can email them or message them on WhatsApp, and they send you like a price list, and you pick out whatever you want, and then they deliver to you in Placencia, they deliver all over the country, but they deliver to Placencia every Thursday to your doorstep, and then you pay them when it gets here. They also have dog meat, so they call it meat shavings, which I guess is a conglomeration of all the meat, and they wrap it up into little pound packets, and it's $1.75 Belize a pound, and I buy this, a lot of people buy it for their dogs, and we make our own dog food out of it, and it's way better for the dogs, right? They also sell cheeses and eggs and milk and stuff like that, so you can choose what you like from there and buy those items too. There's another farm called Beef Masters, and they're a bit closer. They're in our area, Stan Creek, and same thing. They send you their price list, but they don't sell chicken. They just sell beef and pork, I think. No cheeses, no eggs or anything like that, just meat. And same thing, you message them on WhatsApp, they'll send you their price list, and then you pick whatever you want, and you put in your order, and then they deliver it also every Thursday. And they meat, same thing, it hasn't been frozen and refrozen and unthawed and rethawed again. You know that you're getting really good, fresh, it's frozen, but it's only been frozen once. And so that is what most people do here. There are a couple of other farms around here. Deep South Farm, I think they've changed their name to Sabre Farms now, and they also have meat and various items. And then there's Crazy Coconut, and they not only do they sell meat, but they sell all kinds of dairy products too. They sell yogurt and butter, milk, and a variety of stuff. You can look it up on their Facebook page, and then they have a little shop you can go to, and then same thing, you just message them with your order, and then they deliver it to you, and then they call you, and you go and pick it up, I think, in a central place in Placencia. So that is how we shop here. It takes a bit of getting used to, and you have to initially you know, you go slowly up and down the aisle so that you can see what they have or what they don't have. Be very careful of imported products because they're way, way more expensive than the local products. That's the grocery shopping. The other shopping too, in Placencia is just a tiny village, and so we don't have, or Belize does not have any big box stores here at all. So you won't find, you know, Old Navy or the Gap or, you know, Walmart or any of those stores here. And we have one clothing store here that sells new products where they import the clothing from Canada, I think. No, ooh, it's hot here. And they have very nice clothes, very limited selection, I find. But their clothes are very nice. And then there's quite a few stores around Placencia where they sell second-hand, gently used clothing. And that's always a good option, but the same thing. You can't, for me anyway, you can't always find what you want. And so a lot of people here order clothing and other items that you can't buy in Placencia from Amazon or similar online store. And that's a challenge in itself because Amazon or any of these other stores do not deliver direct to Belize. So you have to use a freight forwarder. The one that we all mainly use is called the Belizean Queen. And so what you do is you buy your stuff and you order it and they ship it to the Belizean Queen warehouses. I think there's one in Houston and one in Miami. And they consolidate all your stuff, bring it over on their ship, and then they deliver it to your doorstep. But this can take, it depends on the timing. They sail every 2 weeks, but if you miss that 2 weeks, you know, you could wait 2 weeks for your stuff or a month for your stuff, depending on the timing of your order. And that is, you know, that also takes a bit of getting used to, especially if you're used to getting an Amazon order within a day or two. Now it's, you know, 2, 3, 4 weeks that you wait, and a lot of the time when you eventually get your stuff, it's kind of like Christmas, because sometimes you even forget what you've ordered. It's been so long. But you know, it's something here that we get used to. The other thing is that they have obviously bigger and better stores in Belize City and Belmopan. But if you have a car, it's a 2.5 to 3 hour drive to any of these places, and it makes a good road trip. Like a lot of us, if us girls get together and we hire like a shuttle driver, and so 6 or 8 of us go and we make a day of it, and it turns into a bit of a party. And we go to all these big stores, we go shopping for our clothes, we go shopping for household stuff. We then have lunch somewhere and then drive home, and it's fun. But you know, it's not ideal, right? You can't, it's not like, oh, I need a pair of shoes, and you just walk across the road and you go and buy yourself some shoes. It doesn't happen here. So just bear that in mind. If you want to come and live in Placencia, that is one of the downsides, is that you know, you can't easily get stuff. But that is how we grocery shop here, or do our shopping here. And that's just the way it is. See you in the next one.